Good evening, I'm John Gates.
And I'm Eric Sina.
Welcome to another edition of Old News.
The only show that takes you back in time to meet famous personalities from the ancient past.
Each week, our reporters research an important ancient event and then take a blast to the past to speak directly with some of the greatest people in history.
Today's show features an extraordinary Roman leader, an Egyptian pharaoh that had a huge impact on ancient Egypt, and a Macedonian general who conquered much of the ancient world. Our first reporter today will be Chip Stang. Chip, what are you going to be telling us about today?
Well, I'm going to be telling you guys about the Emperor Titus and the Colosseum he built in Rome.
Rome. That was in 79 AD, am I not mistaken?
That's correct. The Colosseum was a huge amphitheater built in ancient Rome. It was originally called the Flavian Amphitheater. Construction of the Colosseum started during the reign of Emperor Vespasian in 69 AD. It was finished in 79 AD by the Emperor Titus. The Colosseum is 160 feet high and 615 feet long. It had marble and wooden seats that could hold about 50,000 spectators. It was built for entertainment, and the people that fought were slaves and criminals. In the morning, they would show people getting killed by animals, and in the afternoon, people would be getting executed. They also filled the Colosseum with water and reenacted the naval battles. Last but not least, the main event, the gladiator fights. People of Rome thought that it was very interesting to see people get killed. In ancient Rome, gladiators were professional combatants in entertainment. Prisoners of war, criminals, slaves, and volunteers of freedmen. They competed as public entertainment at festival games. Such combats were held in Rome as early as 264 BC as part of memorial ceremonies. Some gladiators fought wild animals. They fought in different styles depending on their background and based on their training.
Man, that's some pretty remarkable stuff, Eric, right?
I know, can you believe those gladiators?
Fighting to the death in a Colosseum.
I know, some pretty gnarly stuff.
So, Chip, you ready to go to the past?
Yep, here I go.
Let's take it to the past.
Emperor Titus, who built the Colosseum? My father Vespasian started to build the Colosseum, and I finished it up for him. So, what battles go on in the Colosseum? Reenactment, naval battles, and even slaves and criminals fighting to the death. Then there's the main event. What's the main event? Gladiators. They're awesome. Why do gladiators fight in the Colosseum? For having fun entertaining the people. Even if they die? That's a price they have to pay. How many spectators can the Colosseum hold? 50,000 screaming Romans. Wow. And now it's time for me to go check out the killing. All right, back to you guys.
Man, oh man, that Emperor Titus is something, right? Did you do something to your hair?
I don't know, I guess the hairstylist just wasn't working. Well, our newscast is waiting at the Time Center. Timecast, are you ready to travel back in time?
Ready.
Then let's go. Wait, this isn't the bathroom. Well, John, it looks like all our cast has safely landed in the past.
You know, I heard that some people may get a little queasy after that, and you might have to go to the bathroom afterwards.
Well, I hope they don't ruin our time portal.
It would be a shame to have you-know-what everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Our first reporter, Taj, is standing by in Sparta at this time. We're going to take it to him to see what he has to say.
I'm in the year 480 BC with the great Spartan king, Leonidas. So, Leonidas, where exactly are we?
The Persians have been fighting us in many places, but their cavalry is too strong, so we decided to fight here.
Yes, but where exactly are we?
We're in a small mountain pass called the Thermopylae Pass.
I see your men are preparing for something. What is it?
They're getting ready for their death. We're outnumbered 100 to 1.
Wow, you guys really take chances. So I guess I should be getting out of your way, right? Good. All right. This is Taj Marable signing off from Old News.
And now, a Leonidas History Minute.
Leonidas was the leader of the Spartans, and he was one of the greatest warriors in history. He fought during both of the Greco-Persian Wars. The life of a Spartan was very difficult. Spartans believed to always put their city-state before themselves, and that led to their tough and harsh lifestyle. When growing up in Sparta, only the healthiest babies were raised. All the other ill babies were left in the mountains to die. At the age of 7, Spartan boys left their families to start training for the next 13 years. When training, a Spartan boy had only the cloak on his back and was hardly given any food, so he was forced to steal. This method taught them to live off the land. This was a long process, and only the best survived, like King Leonidas. Leonidas and his 300 warriors fought at the Battle of Thermopylae against Persian King Xerxes and the Immortals in the year 480 BC. The Greek soldiers held the Persians off for 2 days, winning battle after battle against King Xerxes' soldiers. Leonidas and his warriors detained the Persians off from attacking the rest of Athens and Greece.
Some very cool stuff, Taj.
I know. Can you believe those Spartans?
So now let's take it to Emily. Eric, do you know who Emily's interviewing today?
I believe she's interviewing Odysseus. Is that right, Emily?
That's right, Eric. Now we are here live with Odysseus. Odysseus, why are you risking your life for Helen?
I was asked by the Himalayas, and there's no other king, so I had to.
Do you think your idea of the Trojan horse is actually going to work?
I'm sure my plan's gonna work. It's foolproof. It's gonna be a great success.
Do you think you are going to survive this war?
I'm a little nervous, but me and my men are like a brick wall. We're unstoppable.
If you win this battle, what are you going to do next?
Win or not, I'm gonna go home and celebrate with my wife Penelope and my army.
Well, Odysseus, it was a great experience talking with you, and I hope you win the war. Now we are going back to the studio.
Man, that was interesting. Where did you get the hat?
I don't know. I seem to have accidentally traveled back in time to when I was 5.
Did you have long hair back then, too?
I did not.
Wow. Eric, I'm getting word that our reporter David is on the line with Alexander the Great. Let's take it to David.
Hello, Eric and Giancarlo. We are here live with the greatest general in history, Alexander the Great. So, Alexander, how are you doing today? Tell me about your battles in Persia.
Well, I fought 50 battles and won all of them.
Now that you have conquered Persia, what do you plan to do next?
My next plan is to conquer the whole world.
Why do you want to conquer the whole world?
So I can spread Hellenism to all the lands I conquered.
Tell me something about Hellenism.
Hellenism is the Greek way of life, of democracy and culture.
Wow, good luck with that. Back to the studio. Alexander the Great was one of the most successful generals in history. He was born in 356 BC. His mother's name was Olympias, and his father's name was Philip II, king of Macedonia. When Alexander was young, he had a tutor that was from Athens. His name was Aristotle. He was a brilliant philosopher. When Alexander was 18 years old, he became a cavalry commander, riding on his horse Bucephalus. Alexander's father was assassinated at his daughter's wedding. Alexander gathered an army and attacked Persia. He won many battles. His record was 50-0. He was undefeated. Alexander was also one of the wealthiest men in the world. He started 10 cities. Alexander ruled his empire from his capital city, Babylon.
Well, if you thought that was cool, wait till you see this next segment on Pompeii.
Don't we have a clip on that, Eric?
I think we do. Let's roll it.
Pompeii was a village in the Campania region of southern Italy. It was situated at the base of the volcano Mount Vesuvius. A volcano is a vent or an opening in the surface of the earth through which magma, gases, and ash erupt. In 79 AD, the volcano on Mount Vesuvius erupted, sending smoke, ashes, and lava into the air. Thousands of people died when lava, ashes, and mud buried the town of Pompeii. During the eruption, the people of the town Pompeii tried to escape, but the poison gas from the volcano killed most of them. Some of the people tried to cover their faces from ashes. Others tried to hide in their houses, but their houses fell on them, and they all died.
We're standing by with our field reporter, Ashanti. Ashanti, where exactly are you right now?
Pompeii?
Very intriguing, Ashanti. So let's take it to Ashanti in Pompeii.
Thanks, guys. We're here live in Pompeii to talk to one of the survivors of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Oh my god, here's a lady with half of her body burned up. Maybe I can ask her, she can tell me what happened here. Hello, my name is Ashanti. Can you tell me what happened here?
It was terrible to see the city of Pompeii destroyed by Mount Vesuvius.
How did Mount Vesuvius destroy the city of Pompeii?
Today we saw Mount Vesuvius erupting huge smoke, lava, and ashes into the air. Soon the city of Pompeii was buried under 20 feet of ashes and many people died.
What happened to your husband and kids?
They tried to hide in the house, but the roof caved in and killed them all.
How did you manage to survive?
I ran to a boat in the harbor and went to sail away into the sea.
Good luck with your new life. Now back to you in the studio.
Our next story is about a man named Julius Caesar. But before we get to the interview, let's take a look at some of his history.
Julius Caesar was born into a patrician family in 100 BC in Rome, Italy. In 65 BC, he was elected to office as consul. In 55 BC, he gathered an army, and by 50 BC, he had conquered all of Gaul. In 49 BC, he defied the Senate and conquered parts of Italy and Spain. In 48 BC, he defeated the great general Pompey and became ruler of the entire Roman Empire. In 44 BC, Caesar forced the Roman Senate to elect him dictator for life. Many senators began to plan his assassination.
Well, now we've got Joe on the line with Julius Caesar.
So, Joe, did you make it to the bathroom before this interview?
Well, not really, but there's no indoor plumbing in Rome, so...
So what's going on with Julius Caesar?
Hello, Julius Caesar. How are you doing?
Good. I'm just going to the Senate to pass some of the laws.
So, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Well, I conquered all of Gaul, and I become consul 3 times. Plus, I want to be dictator for life.
But don't the Romans hate kings?
Well, it's not being a king. It's just controlling everything.
Okay. Hey, didn't the oracle say something about the Ides of March and that it would be dangerous?
Yeah, but I don't believe in those silly predictions.
Let me double check the textbook. So, tell us about Cleopatra.
Cleo, she's a hot woman.
Yes, I bet so. Anyway, thanks for your time and have a nice day. What's left of it?
Yeah, sure. Bye.
Back to you.
Thanks, Joe. I didn't really want to ask, but what is that?
Well, Eric, this is a hat from colonial times. Its size is quite unnecessary, though.
Why, yes it is.
And if you thought Julius Caesar was cool, then let's take a look at Themistocles.
Let's roll the history minute.
Themistocles was born in 514 BC. He was an Athenian statesman. He began a political career in 490 BC. Themistocles was a naval commander and created the Athenian navy. Themistocles convinced the Athenians that they should use the silver from a newly found vein of silver to build 200 new trireme ships, which were the best warships in the world. When the Persians attacked Greece, Themistocles ordered the people of Athens to evacuate Athens. He gathered his soldiers onto the triremes and waited for the Persians at Salamis. He tricked the Persian king Xerxes into a narrow strait and then sunk much of his navy. Themistocles is known as one of the greatest warriors of all time.
Wow, Eric, I never knew that.
Neither did I.
And how he harvested all that silver from those mines?
I know, and those triremes are magnificent.
Eric, we have Leo on the line with Themistocles.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's go to Leo.
Whoa, you know I'm a big dude.
Yeah, I know. You got a problem with that?
No, I just want to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
How did it feel fighting at Salamis?
It felt great. It felt even better than defeating King Darius I.
How did it feel seeing Athens burn?
It was bad. It was awful because one of the greatest cities in the world was wrong.
How did you feel after that?
I felt angry. I felt rage. I felt bad because I had to sacrifice my city.
How did you defeat the Persians?
I tricked them into going into a narrow strait and sunk most of their navy with my triremes.
What are you going to do now that you have won?
I'm going to rebuild the Acropolis in Athens.
Thank you. Back to you.
Some very interesting stuff, John.
I was just moved by his achievements.
Agreed. Now, at Old News, most of the people we interview are men, but tonight, we have something special for you. Tonight, we bring you the one, the only, Cleopatra. Let's take a look at her history.
Cleopatra was born in 69 BC in Alexandria, Egypt, into the Ptolemaic dynasty. Her father was Ptolemy Amulets. When her father died, she became the queen of Egypt in 51 BC at the age of 18. She was the companion of Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, two powerful Roman leaders. She had a son with Julius Caesar named Caesarion. She was actually of Greek and African descent. Cleopatra became the first ruler of her family who could actually speak the Egyptian language. When Cleopatra was partners with Mark Antony, they fought against Octavian at the Battle of Actium and lost. Mark Antony committed suicide and Cleopatra fled back to Egypt.
Wow, Eric, just wow.
She's like the Oprah of ancient times.
It seems that way. Now, at Old News, we couldn't leave out one of our reporters with no one to interview. So with that being said, let's take it to Nayeli, who is interviewing Cleopatra at Egypt.
Thanks, guys. This is Old News reporting live from Alexandria, Egypt. Today we are going to interview Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt.
Hello, Nayeli. What do you want to know about me?
How did you become the Queen of Egypt?
Well, my brother and I were co-rulers of Egypt, but we were too many on the throne.
Who helped you become the Queen of Egypt?
Well, a friend of mine named Julius Caesar helped me become queen by killing my brother.
That's harsh.
I didn't like him anyways.
I heard there was a love connection between you and Julius Caesar.
Oh yes, in fact we had a baby named Caesarion.
After Caesar was assassinated in Rome, I heard you fell in love with Mark Antony.
Oh yes, I had 4 babies with him.
Wow, you really like those Roman generals.
There's a reason for everything, isn't there?
Well, there you have it, folks, from the Queen of Egypt. We are now going back to studio in New York.
That really was an interesting show, right, Eric?
Why, yes, it was.
Can you believe people used to ride horses back then?
I know, and now look at us. We're time traveling through portals.
I know. Did you do something with your hair? Because it seems longer.
Well, I am very special.
Man, that thing goes fast.
Yes, it does. Well, that about wraps it up for this edition of Old News.
Join us next week when we travel back in time to visit the American Civil War and have an interview with Abraham Lincoln and General Robert E. Lee.
Now let's give our cast and crew a big round of applause. They deserve it. For all our cast and crew, I'm Eric Sena.
And I'm John Gates.
Have a good night.
And thank you for watching Old News. Da, 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 da. You're supposed to zoom out on that part.
Please give our cast and crew a warm round of applause. They deserve it. I'm Eric Sena.
And I'm John Gates.
See you next time on Old... Oh, it's my line! For all our cast and crew, I'm Eric Sena.
And I'm John Gates.
See you next time
on Old News.
We had something beautiful, John.
On Old News. See you next time.
Let's hang out one more time. I gotta get some hot dogs.
See you next time on Old News.